I'm Jaron, and in this video we will use Ableton's Spectral Resonator to create a build-up like this. You can find Spectral Resonator under Audio Effects in the Reverb and Resonance folder. Spectral Resonator has two modes, internal and MIDI. MIDI mode allows us to receive MIDI information from a different track. Let's start with the shaker loop. While this sounds fine as a basic shaker, we can add tonal material to this loop by receiving MIDI from one of our other tracks. The keyboard track is playing these chords. Let's send the MIDI from the keyboard track to the Spectral Resonator located on the shaker track. Just like a traditional synthesizer, Spectral Resonator can be set to polyphonic or monophonic mode. Since we're dealing with chords, let's set it to polyphonic mode. The balance between the original shaker sound and Spectral Resonator sound can be controlled with the dry-wet knob. Here's how it sounds. We are combining the rhythmic activity of the shaker loop with the harmonic material of the chords. Spectral Resonator is a great tool for creating unique sounds that merge two parts into one. We can further develop the sound by adjusting more of Spectral Resonator's parameters. The decay knob determines how long the sounds are sustained. The decay parameter can be useful for building up or winding down energy during different sections of your song or arrangement. The harmonics parameter and the shift parameter both control the brightness of the sound. The higher the value of these parameters, the brighter the sound will become. The last parameter we will be taking advantage of is unison. Unison has two controls, one for the number of voices and one for the amount. Together these two controls affect the wideness of the sound. By using automation to gradually increase these parameters, we can create an interesting build-up effect. We have created an evolving rhythmic synth layer out of a simple shaker loop. Spectral Resonator is a great tool for creating new parts and layers out of the existing ideas in your project. Let's look at two more ways we can apply this technique. Similar to how we paired the shaker loop with the keyboard chords, let's now pair the kick drum with the bass line. Here's the kick drum track. The bass track is playing this bass line. Let's send the MIDI from the bass track to the kick drum's Spectral Resonator. Because the bass line is only playing one note at a time, we can set the Spectral Resonator on the kick drum track to monophonic. The notes are sounding a little too high. To get the bass line to play in the correct octave, we can adjust the transpose parameter. The transpose parameter allows us to change the pitch in semitones. This bass line needs to be one octave lower, so we can set the transpose parameter to -12, as there are 12 semitones in an octave. We can use the dry-wet parameter to get the desired mix between the original kick sound and the bass sound that Spectral Resonator is creating. Let's see how this sounds with some automation applied. By using this technique, we have created a kick drum track that provides the foundation and notes of our bass line without having to use our actual bass track. This allows us to save our actual bass track for after our build-up or for a different section of our arrangement. The last elements we will put together are the hi-hats with the lead melody. Here's the hi-hat track. The lead is playing this melody. Let's send the MIDI from the lead track to the Spectral Resonator on the hi-hat track. Similar to the bass line, the lead is only playing one note at a time, so we can set Spectral Resonator to monophonic mode. With a naturally bright sound like this, the harmonics parameter and the shift parameter have a big impact on the sound. Let's see how this track sounds with automation applied. Spectral Resonator is a great tool for taking existing elements of your project and turning them into new parts or layers that can be used to create build-ups, drops, intros, outros, or whole new sections. By using this technique, you can save your original parts for the main sections of your tracks, such as a verse or a chorus. This can help keep your listeners engaged and make sure that any repeated material stays evolving and sounding fresh. Here's how everything sounds together.